Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the world. If this is your first time checking out a video, please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. We're watching a clip of The Herd with Colin Cowherd, talking about the Jets and the culture, and apparently it's not doing too well, which is not necessarily a surprise. I know there was some conversations before about Aaron Rodgers' impact on that, which I think is kind of nonsense. Personally, he has not really been able to put his stamp on that organization just yet. If anything, it's more of an indicator of Robert Saleh personally, and just maybe the ownership and just the way the culture has already been established well before Aaron Rodgers. But Hardman called out Jets culture. Again, not really sure exactly what was said. I haven't heard anything just yet, so I'm going to be experiencing this for the first time along with everyone else here. So let's see what Colin has to say, and then we'll break it down from there.
I've been on this to the point that it's irritating, and I understand it. But 3 years now I've been on this. The last several Super Bowls, at the end of the year, look at the playoff coaches. They're offensive coaches. And defensive coaches can be completely disconnected from offense. Belichick's allergic to offense. Tomlin can never get the offensive line right. It could be Mike Zimmer, Ron Rivera, Brian Flores, Sean McDermott I like, but they just, it takes them forever to get that offense right behind Josh Allen. They just don't have a feel for it. They know football, they don't get offense, and there's always been questions about Robert Saleh. There's a young coach, the offense is a mess. They hire Nathaniel Hackett. He didn't have much of a market after the Denver disaster. And here is, on the Pivot podcast, Mecole Hardman, who went to the Jets. They went and got him, couldn't figure out how to use him. Again, the Chiefs are the gold standard. Andy Reid's the gold standard. And then he went to the Jets. I don't want to hear who's Mecole Hardman. I don't know. Game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl, 3 catches, 1 with the Jets. You don't have to be a great player to have great access, to have great perspective. A lot of people in my business aren't stars, but they know stuff, they say stuff. Doesn't invalidate it because you're not a superstar in a sport. I want access. I want raw, real, relevant opinions. These are relevant. Mecole Hardman can play. Not as good as some thought, but he was valuable to the Chiefs. They brought him back, and a big game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. Not a good look for Aaron Rodgers, who I've always said is a great talent. I don't view him as a great leader. That's okay. Kevin Durant, great.
How is this possibly any indictment on Aaron Rodgers? He was unable to play this entire season. So it's very frustrating because I'm not even a big defender of Aaron Rodgers, quite honestly. I mean, I've called Aaron Rodgers out plenty, but this is where this is like annoying because he had nothing to do with this right now. Okay, he was with the Jets playing for like what, 2 months? I mean, seriously. I mean, it's just nothing. So this whole idea is just nonsense. This has nothing about Aaron Rodgers. Absolutely, positively nothing.
Great talent. Don't view him as a great leader. It's not what he does. He hits shots. Aaron makes passes. But you want me to take the Jets seriously in a division with Josh Allen and improved weapons, Tua, Mike McDaniel, and great weapons, and you want me to take Nat Hackett, Aaron off of surgery, arguably worst O-line in the league seriously. Can't, won't, no thanks. And I don't care if Mecole Hardman's not a superstar player. Touchdown in the Super Bowl was a game winner. Good enough for me. So your life will overwhelmingly be a result of your choices. And Aaron, for several years, had a standard on offense. He had an offensive coach, 2 of them. He had a great O-line every year. PFF top 10 Packer. He had running backs. He had a standard. He had success. He had a front office that drafts and develops, in my opinion, and I've said this recently, as well as any in the NFL last 25 years. Packers draft and develop at an incredibly high level. And he grumbled, passive-aggressive shots. He went into the darkness, and he chose the Jets. Bad look. Bad look for Saleh. Bad look for Aaron. Smartest guy in the room made a really bad career choice.
Okay. If you want to say that it's a bad look for Aaron individually, that he chose a team that has a bad culture, okay, I can buy that. But again, he never got to put his stamp on it because he got injured. And I don't care who you are. Once you get injured, the players just look past you. You're just not that guy anymore. You are not on the field. You are not going to war with everyone. It's, oh man, that sucks. And when are you coming back? Like, it's just different. Everything about it is different. Okay? I mean, we've seen so many examples of this. And the reality is that if Tom Brady went to Tampa Bay and Tom Brady got injured, you don't think there would be turmoil? You don't think people would be speaking up and saying, man, Tampa Bay shouldn't have, gone all in on such an old quarterback. Of course he got injured. Look how old he is. He's past his prime, blah, 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 blah. All the same stuff would have happened. What culture did Tampa Bay have that was so amazing? By his own accord, Colin, he even said that Tampa Bay is known to have a wild culture. That even just Tampa Bay, the city itself, is wild. Drinking cocktails at 6 o'clock. He talked about that. He says that it's like a fun, lively, not a strict, city like in New England that Tom had. And then he even pointed out that Tom started unraveling there, that he started yelling more and wasn't as buttoned up, and he got frustrated with the team and the culture and the head coach for Tampa Bay and how it wasn't as tightly buttoned up, and that it wasn't until Tom was able to establish the Patriots' way is when they finally began to win. Whether you believe that or not, that's fine. But this is exactly what Colin Cowherd has said. So the fact that he's now saying that this is, an indictment of Rodgers, but it was a great move when Tom Brady did it because it ended up working out for him because he actually got to play. Okay, and I think Tom Brady's a better player, a better leader, better everything. But Tom Brady had to make moves. Tom Brady had to recruit Gronk. He had to recruit AB. Like, he had to do very specific things, which you can make the argument that Aaron Rodgers didn't necessarily do that. He recruited other players that can't necessarily help them win today. Gronk and AB could help the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win. But this idea of just piling on Aaron just because it's just not fair. It's kind of like talking, all this trash behind someone's back and not giving them the opportunity to be able to defend themselves because he was not able to play. So we were not able to see what Aaron Rodgers was able to do. So I just and again, now the problem is that yes, he is older. Yes, he is coming back from a severe injury. So we may never really be able to see what he was able to do. Pre-injury, you have to give some grace here and imagine that Aaron Rodgers would have done well enough, that the team would have been good, it would have been competitive. They were pretty much making do with Zach Wilson. Aaron Rodgers is like 5 times the quarterback of Zach Wilson, okay? So if Aaron Rodgers was able to stay healthy, even with a terrible offensive line, you have to imagine that they would have at least won more games. Are we really saying that Aaron Rodgers isn't worth a couple more wins? 2, 3, 4 more wins? Of course he is. Of course he is. It's insane to think otherwise. So it's just different. And the culture, anyone who's been part of a losing team knows this. The culture starts to unravel. It just starts to go to crap. I mean, it just does. When you're winning, everything's great. Look at the Chiefs. They're a perfect example of this. When they felt that that they were losing, that they were no longer as dominant as they were, and in specific games when things were too tight for comfort, they started to unravel. Okay? Patrick Mahomes starts yelling. Travis Kelce slams his helmet in the Super Bowl. Travis Kelce slams into Andy Reid. That's what unraveling looks like. The Chiefs were able to overcome it, of course, because Patrick Mahomes was able to play. But you know it, and I know it, that if the Chiefs lost that Super Bowl, which was a legitimate possibility, they would have all been talking about that the dynasty is over, that they're unraveled. Patrick Mahomes is yelling with Rashee Rice on the sidelines. Travis Kelce is getting in the face of Andy Reid. It would have completely spiraled out of control. No ifs, ands, or buts. If you don't agree with that, I don't know what to tell you, because that's exactly what would have happened. But they won. Winning solves everything. It solves everything. So this idea that if Aaron Rodgers wasn't able to play, if he was able to play, and that if he was actually able to win and improve the Jets, which again, we have to imagine, we can't just all of a sudden just say that Aaron Rodgers is just a scrub and can't play. They would have been better. They would have won. They would have been more tighter. The defense would have been tighter. The offense would have been tighter. Everybody's just more focused. There was this massive buildup for Aaron Rodgers to come to New York. They were so excited. Finally got a quarterback. Let's go. And just like that, he got injured. That is one of the most deflating things you could ever imagine for an organization, for the fans, for the upper management, for the coaching staff, for the players. whether they're rookies or whether they're seasoned vets or whether it's their final year. When that happens, your heart just sinks and you're just like, oh my God, this whole season is just done. And you can try to talk to yourself up and say, we can get behind Zach Wilson, right? You play that game for a minute. All right, we got this. Wilson can step up. He got it. He's been studying under, he's been watching Aaron play. Like, we got this. Come on, we got this. Hey, anything can happen. Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. Let's go. And then the reality sets in. And then you're kind of wishful thinking, Aaron's going to come back. He's going to come back. Come on, he's going to be so fast. He's going to come back. And then you realize he's not coming back. And you're just fighting with those emotions and those thoughts and feelings non-stop. So things start to unravel. Do I think Robert Saleh is a great coach? No. Do I think they should have gotten an offensive head coach? Yes. Absolutely. Do I think that they should, improve their O-line? Yes, absolutely. If you're going to get Aaron Rodgers, go all in. Get Aaron Rodgers and make other moves to really make sure that your team is in a position to truly succeed. We know the defense is legit. So all of these stories coming out when Aaron never even got to play, it just feels wrong, honestly. It's like doing a documentary about a celebrity who's died, who, and talking about how bad he is, and yet you don't, it's like he can't refute any of the claims because he's not alive, right? He can't say, this is not true. That's not what happened. My ex-wife is lying. He's dead. He can't make those. He can't say that that's not true. To me, that's what this feels like. Aaron Rodgers was not able to play football. So saying that it was never going to work or that it can't work or that he made a mistake, he can't defend it because he wasn't able to play. And now the next season, this coming season, is whether it's a success or a failure, doesn't have anything to do with last season because he got injured. It's one thing if he just I don't know, like he had a family emergency and he just couldn't play, right? That would be different. He got an injury. So we know that this following season, he could be compromised. We don't know if he's actually making a full recovery. Not to mention, he's a year older and he's already on the line of being old. He is old, but if he maybe got this injury when he was like 31, then you could be like, all right, or 20, obviously in his 20s, even better. But that's not the case. So even this next season, if it was a failure, even if they don't play well and he doesn't make a full recovery, you can't say, well, that was a disaster. If he plays amazing and he's fully recovered and the Jets are just terrible and Robert Saleh has no control over the team, sure, then we can extrapolate that. Then we can say, okay, clearly Aaron just made the worst mistake ever. But if that's not the reason why they don't succeed, and it's because, Aaron is just not good enough now, his just injuries and age has caught up to him. You're not going to you can't say, we just don't know how that other year would have gone. But those are just my thoughts on this one. I would absolutely love to hear yours. I read every single comment. So if you think what I'm saying is the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, please let me know in the comments below. If you think what I'm saying is the most amazing thing, then definitely please let me know. Either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really, really does help with the visibility and the algorithm, and I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, and see you next time.